Who's the host?
Do I mute you?
Don't even go there.
Oh, let me turn on the camera.
I'm going to mute.
Okay, and I have to.
Huh. Oh, there I am. Oh, let me fix my hair.
The microphone's not on. What? Everything's fine. I don't think your microphone's on.
Let me see. Oh, this is not yet either. So.
It's on now. Yeah.
Turn that. Mhm. When are we going to start the recording? Oh, it started. Oh, sorry about that, y'all. It's already started. I didn't know that. So it's 12 o'clock Central Time. What is that? 1 o'clock Eastern Time. And we're about ready to start. And my name is Bethel, and I am the president of the board of Unity, Namaste Unity. No, he. I got it right. Yay, I got it right. So I'm doing the welcoming. I welcome you all here. And I'm going to be doing the opening prayer and the daily word. So welcome, welcome, welcome to everybody in Zoom land and everybody here. We got a good, nice group today. Few not so nice, but mostly nice. No, mostly nice. Just kidding. So I thought what I would do today to start off, back in the days when I worked, I was a hospice nurse, and I would travel around to different patients' homes. And before I went in every home, I would say this prayer. You may have heard it because it does come from the Course in Miracles. But I would say this prayer every morning before I walked into a patient's house. And it seemed to give everybody peace. And I didn't really do anything, but as soon as I'd walk in, people would feel more peace. You know, when someone's dying, it's hard for families, and they need to feel that peace. So this is the prayer I used to say. I am here only to be truly helpful. I am here to represent the one who sent me. I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because the love who sent me will direct me. I am content to be wherever love wishes, knowing love goes there with me. And I will be healed as I let love teach me to heal. And I wish that peace for all of you, and that the peace of God shines in your heart right now and forevermore. And now I'm going to do our daily word. The daily word has been put out by Unity for over 100 years. Don't ask me the exact number because I always get it wrong, but it's over 100 years. And it's taken from a Bible verse, and I'll tell you the Bible verse at the end of this. But the word today is compassionate. I am a compassionate presence. Sunday, February 13th, 2022. In periods of peaceful contemplation, I immerse myself in the unconditional love that joins the human family together in God. As the awareness of divine love fills my mind and heart, it dissolves all memories of difficulties and feelings of discord. Centered in divine love, I deeply feel my oneness with God and with all people. I now see the people in my life anew, beholding the divinity of each dear one I meet. My heart overflows with infinite empathy as I respond to their troubles and celebrate their triumphs. I am patient. I listen with intention. I recognize their divinity as I recognize my own. I welcome the flow of divine love as it blesses me as well as those with whom I am sharing my compassion. And from Leviticus chapter 19, verse 18, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people, but you shall love your neighbor as yourself. I am the Lord. Leviticus 19:18. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our main speaker of the day, a wonderful, wonderful, peaceful, loving man, probably the most peaceful, loving man I've ever met. Well, besides one priest one time. Only one, but there was one priest one time that I just felt his love. As soon as he walked into the room, I could feel it. But you know what? It wouldn't have mattered if he'd been a priest or a rabbi or a minister. It didn't matter because it was his soul that I saw. And this man shows us his soul. He's wonderful, wonderful. Reverend David, come on up here.
All right. Oh, good morning. Buenos dias. Yeah. Oh, so we get to take and focus for this time on this amazing presence and love that we are in the midst of, that is in the midst of us, that flows through our lives, that is there helping us create each moment of the life. And we get to celebrate it individually, but at the very special time of coming together on Sunday, we celebrate it together. And there's a particular celebration that I want to share with you. Some of you may be aware that our beloved friend and teacher Teddy made his transition, I believe last Friday, sometime around there. And this beautiful soul was such an inspiration to this community and to many beyond here. His beautiful teaching and wisdom, one of those people whose knowledge of the Course in Miracles as a path of life and growth was just exquisite. And you know, he was here to serve, and he did that so beautifully. And yet, so there's a couple things that happen for me when I hear that. One, honestly, the first thing is I want to go, way to go, Teddy! Great job! What a life! What a contribution! What a beautiful thing! And I want to celebrate with Teddy because so often he told us of this greater reality. It was so real and close for him that he helped us focus on it and being alive and for us. And now, without these limits, he gets to touch. And I think he was the one last time we heard him just the other day. There is no death. No, there's not. We know you're having a ball. And there are other feelings there. Honestly, I already miss him. And that sense of separation in this third dimensional journey that we're on is a very real experience. We miss him. We aren't going to have that wonderful voice and insight on as James and Vicky and Teddy, inspire us and teach us. And I miss that. And another thing is, my heart just wants to embrace Vicky. I know that there are few beings on this earth that know the reality and the beauty of Teddy's experience now as Vicky do. And when you have been so close, when you have been that presence and support also, few people would know the loss and that difficulty as Vicky would. And so I would like for us together to take a time in prayer and bless these two beautiful beings. And I think of Vicky, not only Vicky as a person, but Vicky as kind of a symbol of all of us who have been, close to, blessed by, inspired by, challenged by Teddy and his wonderful presence and his wisdom. So if you would, in my experience of prayer, I find it starts right here. I want to touch my heart. I want to bring my awareness there, because I know that this is this doorway into the greater awareness of which Teddy spoke, that we all seek. Beloved presence, infinite love. Mother, Father, God, you who are all, you who are this amazing love that embraces all of us and so deeply embraces Teddy, that I know that he now knows so deeply and so beautifully your love at a level that we don't get to touch in this body that we use for this journey. I know you embrace and enfold him. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Oh, and to our beloved Vicky, our hearts reach out to you. We enfold you. We let that gentleness and grace of love flow through our hearts to touch you, just as it right now enfolds and blesses Teddy for love. The beautiful power and presence of love is not confined to space or time. And in it, we are one. We are one with this change as the goodness of God flowing through these lives, flowing through our lives. We are one in that challenge of letting go and understanding more deeply. We are one in that beautiful love that really is caring for us all. So we give thanks for the ease and grace. We give thanks for the peace that grows in all our hearts. We give such thanks for this marvelous being who gave so much, for the beautiful presence that he is now. And Teddy, we love you. We bless you. And we release you to the very highest with deep gratitude in our hearts. And together we rest in the peace of God. And that is our choice. In this moment together, to know that peace. Let's rest in silence, in the peace of God. Beloved presence, it is so beautiful to know you and to experience your gentle care. With gratitude for that infinite presence flowing through us all that we acknowledge as the Christ. Amen. Oh, thank you for joining me in that. My heart needed it. So I am so inspired by this community because I know that regularly, time and again, you look at this challenging experience of touching a greater reality, living in a limited reality, and growing in the capacity to do that at will and wisely. What a inspiring challenge. Also, I would acknowledge frustrating, irritating, just driving one to the limits of one's spirituality. So it's just part of this journey that we're on. And I think one of the reasons it's so dear to me is in the language of the Course in Miracles, it's spoken of what is real and what is not real. When Unity was founded, they were talking about the same thing, but they used the word truth. What is true? And they didn't mean, oh, my description of life and spirituality is right and yours wrong, but rather what is true in that what is an infinite presence that is not changing, that is not transient, that is always there, that which is the real true basis and reality of our being. And so in this struggle with language, we're all aware of how really poor these words are and what we're trying to talk. So I think the other thing that has been so meaningful to me and connected me to Unity is that Unity's focus in this was on what they called practical Christianity. Okay, in other words, well, that's wonderful. How do you live it? How do you make that real in your life? How do you use that power that is challenging to perceive to move through this life in harmony and peace, fulfilling the marvelous purpose of your soul? And what I found in that journey is that there are some real challenges to that, being able to bring that connection right here. We were having a conversation at the over eating the other day, and we got wondering, what is it about our minds that gets us so stuck in one reality while another reality exists. And Ravi shared a wonderful experience that he said, it's all right if I share with you. So we were talking, and he shared with us the experience where they were talking, he was talking with someone about family. And, when he was born, and his older sister when she was born, and how many months there were behind, and the year she was born. And his friend, who happened to very easily drop into numbers, said, but if you were born then and she's that much older than you, she wouldn't have been born in that year that you just told me. And he said, oh, yes, she was. I know it. And so Ravi, being a very intelligent man who can add and subtract with the best of us, looked at the numbers. Here's when I was born. Here's how much older than me she is. And it was not possible for her to be born. But he knew, regardless of the numbers, that she had to be born in the year that he knew she was born. And he knew that was right, in spite of the fact that the numbers were there. Now, the numbers weren't wrong. There was no error there. And yet he could not let go of that. And I think what really endeared to me is how many times I've been in that situation where my mind takes a hold of something and goes, this is it, regardless of the fact I can prove to myself that's not it. And I think it's so helpful, because these experiences of mind, of intelligence, of how we perceive take place, to just take a moment and look at this. Now, there's a reason why that happened. There's aspects of our mind that in what Ravi was experiencing was the aspect of his mind that connects into his emotions. And it is the mind that connects us to emotions. Okay. It's a mind process. There are specific parts of the mind that do that. And that part gets very connected with things that are related to our identity, and that are being right, if you will. A wonderful thing to be right. Every now and then I've been right. But I always think I'm right. But that thing is part of the brain that functions through as an emotional system. And then there's another part that runs our logic system. Okay, and he had both going at once. He had the logic over here, but what I can tell you is, in the way the brain is structured, there is far more communication between the emotional into the logic than there is from the logic to the emotional. So even though the logic was right, his brain could not release it. So he took the step of calling his sister. Wise man. Okay. And sister said, no, I wasn't born in the year you think I was. I actually born in that year that the math showed I was. Okay, so finally he was able to let that go. But have you been there?
Yes.
Yeah, that emotional identity is just so strong. And I think as I've gone through the experience of studying so many of the great teachers and scriptures, and I go, oh, wow, look at that beautiful world. My emotional identity says, I don't know. This looks real to me. And then I go into the logic to help him reinforce the emotional, and I'm getting kind of a circle there that says, wow, what in the world are you doing as a minister? You're crazy. And then there's a shift, and it's that shift that I want to explore with you today. Because what we're talking about is shift of realities. And one of the gifts that Teddy brought us was he kept holding that other reality for us. He kept saying, this is here. How do we shift those realities? So because I learn best in experience, I want to share an experience with you. Now, this took place some time ago. Catherine and I had just moved into the Santa Cruz area. We were both at that time and started working for the Institute of Heart Math. And Catherine had a physical condition that wasn't a big deal, but there was a surgery. It wasn't so big that she was able to do it as an outpatient surgery. So we went into the outpatient surgery clinic, and she went in with the surgeon and the people, and I waited around for a while, and finally the doctor comes out, and he's in his scrubs, his regalia, and he has a mask, and calls me. We step into a hall there so we can talk privately. And he says to me, in the surgery, I found a condition in your wife that could be life-threatening. So she will need to be hospitalized for major surgery. With that information before me, there were several things that took place within me. Okay, my mind immediately recognized we were here without insurance. We are people of fairly simple resources. Major surgery is one of the things that is not within our financial capacity. And so suddenly, a huge need, the inability to respond, something that could collapse our financial world. And then there's another part of that message that impacted me, life-threatening. I had been through the death of a spouse, and that brought that pain and loss and the sense of powerlessness to protect this woman I love so deeply. Wow. So these were the things that were taking place within me. Now, I had a very special gift at that time. I had been working with how we shift our awareness for several years on science and techniques to do that. And then we're going to be going through some classes here on Mondays, and I'll get to share a lot with you. But the result was I was aware that these feelings, these thoughts were, first of all, very stressful to my being, which meant that I understood that my brain was now going from highly functioning to minimal functioning. Okay, that's just biology. Okay, I was also aware that there was another part of my being that I could connect to support and guide me through this. And that is my spiritual being. That my intellectual being was engaged, my emotional being was engaged, my social being was engaged. What I needed was the presence of spirit, that infinite love and wisdom. That was not engaged. It's not our default mechanism. Our default mechanism in this third dimensional thing that we're playing in as we go through this beautiful experience of humanness. Okay, the way it operates, the way it's designed to function is through the brain. The spiritual nature and wisdom has to be chosen. That's kind of how some infinite wisdom somewhere set it up. But I had the gift of knowing that. How could I make that choice? Fortunately, I'd always known the trigger. You know the trigger. It's at the root of every great teaching we've ever experienced. The trigger is love. That's what engages it. That's what turns on the heart. And that's where I had the knowledge of when the heart shifts, this beautiful spiritual presence can move in and through us. And the power of that greater wisdom, that soul that has come here with purpose, has the wisdom to guide us through our experiences if I connect with it. And the way is love. And I can tell you, as a minister for many years, when you need to do it, love is not the natural response. Fear, anger, upset, projection, denial, these are the natural response because of the brain, because of how we're encoded. It's a normal response, but I didn't want normal. I wanted wisdom. I needed that love. And one of the beautiful things that I'd learned was that one of the ways to activate the heart, to turn it on so that you can get to that love, is to experience a feeling that love is a part of. And because I had done this in my practice and for small things, and this, which was a major experience for me. And I say this knowing that everyone here has had major experiences like this. It may have not been a surgery. It may have been something else in your world or with someone else in your family or with yourself, but we have all been there. But what I knew that I could feel that was like that was that I could touch a memory that was so powerful and full of that divine presence that it could open my heart. I went to a memory. Now, I wasn't about to remember anything about this stuff going on, or because my brain would have just jumped in and started talking to me. So I went to a memory that had a strong feeling. It was a memory of awe. Just a memory of a moment when my heart was just in awe. It was just filled and impacted by the beauty and majesty of what was before me. Catherine and I had been in Hawaii on this little raft, and these huge humpback whales have dove down and swam underneath our raft. And we're watching these magnificent creatures. And then they come out the other side, and there is this baby whale that is just having a ball. It is jumping up, shaking itself, going back down, and mom's kind of moving in between the raft and the baby, and then the baby's up and going. It was one of the most magnificent moments I've ever experienced. And I remember just being in complete awe. So strong, so powerful that I could remember that. And that feeling was so strong and powerful. I could feel it in that hallway, looking at that doctor as he talked to me about this situation. I could feel it. And then I could ask my heart how to respond. And my heart, that beautiful wisdom of the spiritual self, said, there's not a thing you can do about the money in this hallway. Let it go. Now, the beautiful thing is the power to let it go was there. Remember, James was doing this beautiful thing about, let it go, stop it. What, great, how do you do that? So there's a secret, folks. The heart is 40 to 60 times more powerful than your brain. When it sends it to the brain can let go. When you say, I shouldn't think that, oh, yes, I should. That's an argument in the brain. Okay, you got equal on equal. When your heart lets that spiritual power flow through it, the perception changes. Jesus' teaching that talks about moving our vision. Those who have eyes to see, let them see. Those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Where does that sight, vision come from? It comes from your spiritual self. Okay, it flows through your heart. It flowed there. And I was able to let go the worry about the money. Also, direct direction from my spirit. This is not about the death of my first wife. This is about care for Catherine. Okay. Yeah. Because of the power of my spiritual nature at that time, because of the power of your spiritual nature when you need it, I could let that go. And then it's said clearly and distinctly, Catherine will be afraid. She needs your support. Go to her and support her. So I said to the doctor, I need to go and be with my wife. And he said, oh, of course. We went in there and we were able to be together. And last night, Catherine came in on Alaska Airlines with me here, and she's healthy and well. And we never had to do bankruptcy. God just has amazing miracles all over the place. So, but what happens, I want to focus on a difference, because I think so many of the things I hear are just, they're beautiful truths, but I find them challenging unless I know how to make them actualize. If you'll notice what was happening with my brain, it was responding to about money. Again, I couldn't do anything about it there. The money was a future challenge, not now. Okay. The death of my first wife was a past challenge, not now. James very beautifully talked the other day about the now moment. The need that Catherine had and my ability to respond to that need was now. From past and future, that spiritual self takes us out of our projections and our past patterns to be present and responsive in this holy moment. Another thing, money is not high on my values. Neither is rehashing past stuff. Responding with care to somebody I love. That's very high on my values. Your spiritual self is hooked directly into your values. That's who you are. That's who put them there. So it's there. It's there for every one of us. There's a shift into the heart, awaken it. And we are seeing the world through different eyes. Because I touched on Jesus' thing there, I wanted to share one more very simple thing. This is universal. This is a universal truth of our beings. This is not something captured by one religion, do it my way. It's captured by them all in their own beautiful ways. Let me share with you from the Upanishads, the ancient, beautiful teachings of the Hindu path. The Lord God, all-pervading and omnipresent, dwells in the heart of all beings. Dwells in the heart of all beings. Full of grace, he ultimately gives liberation to all creatures by turning their faces towards himself. By focusing our attention on the heart, we are freed on the heart. Now, the heart also is the symbol of love, of the divine as love. So as we make that focus, then we experience liberation. My liberation was a simple one, from a mind that got caught in old patterns to what was important and value. So I would invite you this wonderful week for all the you can. Just watch it. It's going to show up. Remember it. It's been there time and again. You're gonna see it in each other. We are in the midst of an incredible beauty and goodness. And it's there. When we feel that, it's the feeling. We know the heart transforms, the body transforms, the brain transforms, and that beautiful power of your spiritual being says, here I am. What can we create together that fulfills who you really are? Thank you. Take a deep breath through your heart, and it just occurred to me, I'm inviting you to have an awe-filled week. Yeah. It almost sounds like awful, but it's awe-filled. Yeah. So let's now let me see if I can click correctly here. Green button as we share together our prayer of protection. There it is. Okay, are you gonna? There we are. All right, my friends, let's stand and share this beautiful prayer of awareness together. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right, so true. Thank you, those of you out there in this beautiful Zoom community, for being a part of this. We love you.
Does Vicky want to say something? Excuse me.
Yes, that would just be, well, yeah, let me.
Share screen.
Okay, and I'm gonna, where's the record button?
Black square thing, the black square thing next to the,
Okay.
yeah.